The book of Exodus begins where Genesis ends. God's promise to Abraham has grown into a great people, but those people are no longer free. What began as refugee in Egypt has become bondage. Israel has multiplied, just as God promised. Now they are enslaved, oppressed, and forgotten. Or so it seems. Exodus opens with a powerful truth. God's promise is still alive, even when his people are suffering. A new Pharaoh rises in Egypt, one who does not know Joseph. He looks at Israel's growth and feels fear. Fear turns into control. Control turns into cruelty. Their lives are reduced to bricks and chains. Pharaoh even orders the death of Hebrew baby boys. But Exodus tells us something surprising. The more Israel is oppressed, the more they multiply. Human power cannot stop God's blessing. Oppression cannot cancel God's promise. God's rescue does not begin with miracles. It begins with courage. Two Hebrew midwives fear God more than Pharaoh, and they protect life. A mother hides her child, a sister watches faithfully. And Pharaoh's own daughter rescues a Hebrew baby from the river. The future deliverer of Israel is raised inside the house of Israel's enemy. God is already at work, quietly, patiently, deliberately. Moses grows up between two worlds, Hebrew by birth, Egyptian by upbringing. When he sees injustice, he acts in anger and kills an Egyptian. Instead of becoming a deliverer, Moses becomes a fugitive. He flees into the wilderness. Years pass. Silence fills the story. Moses becomes a shepherd, far from power, far from Egypt, far from influence. But God often prepares his servants slowly. What looks like delay is often training. Then scripture pauses and something shifts. The Israelites cry out because of their suffering. And Exodus tells us four powerful things. God heard their groaning. God remembered his covenant. God saw the people of Israel. And God knew. God's silence was not absence. It was patience. God meets Moses in the wilderness, not in a palace, but in a burning bush. The bush burns, but is not consumed. God is holy, yet near. God calls Moses by name. He tells Moses that he has seen the suffering of his people, and he's coming down to deliver them. When Moses asks who God is, God reveals his name. I am. Not a distant God, not a silent God. The God who is present, the God who keeps his promises. Moses resists. He feels inadequate, afraid, unqualified. But God is patient. Deliverance does not depend on Moses' strength. it depends on God's identity. God reaffirms his covenant. He reminds Israel who he is, and he promises redemption, freedom, and presence. God has heard the cry, and now he is about to act. Exodus chapters 1 through 6 teach us this. God is not distant from suffering. When his people cry out, he hears. When he reveals his name, deliverance follows. The stage is now set. God will confront Pharaoh. God will display his power. God will rescue his people. The story of salvation is about to unfold. If this station helped you see Scripture more clearly, subscribe to Godly Insights for more Bible-centered teaching. And remember, the God who heard Israel's cry still hears today.